Hi, I'm Dr. Gabe Keeney from the Soil Health Labs. This video series is in support of the NRCS Conservation Practice on Cover Crops, number 340. This video is in a 7-part series, so make sure you watch any preceding videos in this series before you watch this one. In this video, Jason and I talk about fine-tuning and other considerations that we need to think about with multi-species cover crops. So it seems like we got this set up within a perfectly acceptable margin of error for the planting rate that we want. Is there any other steps left that we need to be aware of before we get out and start planting?
Well, this being a 3-section drill, so it's a total of 30 feet. So it's 3 10-foot drills put together. So there's 2 more drills down that way that have their own drive tire and transmission. So we can either take that measurement that we've determined is close enough for our desired rate and just use it for the next 2. But sometimes I've seen over the years that they can vary. So just because everything's exactly the same identical drill, you could see a couple pounds higher or lower. Usually it's pretty close, but if you want to make sure, you really need to check each drill. And another thing we did is we just used 1 cup per drill. To really get a good average, you probably would want to go towards the beginning and towards the end and get the average of 2. Because what I've sometimes seen over the years is the end that you do the adjustment on usually tends to put out maybe a little more than the end far away from the adjustment. And it's just because you figure over 10 feet that whole shaft's pulling. Imagine that's probably, you would see it, my old drill was a 15-foot, and I would see it vary more on a 15-foot just because of the longer distance. So to get it pretty accurate, it's probably best to use 2 cups or just use 1 in the middle. I like to just use 1 in the middle and then start off with that same setting we have on the others and then check the next 2 in the middle. And if they're all pretty close, I'll leave them there. It's hard to get everything dialed dead on, but you're just trying to get it as close as possible. Some other things I've noticed over the years that help get the grain drill dialed in is, for one thing, if you start with just the seed over the unit that you're calibrating, when you start with the drill all the way closed and slowly move it open, you don't have as much resistance on each metering roll, and it's a lot easier for that whole shaft to move across. Another thing, sometimes the plastic gets in a bind, so you can sometimes spray it or keep it clean or spray it with silicone, and that helps make everything move evenly. If you notice that one end is probably putting out less than the other, you can sometimes just take a wrench, come on the side of the metering roll, and tap it in the direction you want it to go. If you want it to open, go to the left. You want it to close, go to the right. And sometimes just that little fine-tune adjustments will make a difference where you can make it even all the way across.
Just in case it was catching as the bar was sliding through, you mean?
That's right.
Got it.
And then another thing I always recommend, just because you got it dialed in right now, go plant about 10 acres, come back, either check it in the field or come back to the shop and check it again. This drill's not as bad, but my drill before that had a handle on the front, there was so much play in it that you could have it dead on where you want it. You could go plant 10 acres and come back and it could be off as much as 5 pounds per acre. Well, 5, that's going to add up over time, especially when you're only putting 20 to 25 pounds per acre on some of the lower rates that we use.
You can find the conservation practice standards for cover crops on the NRCS ePhotog website in the video description, and please do contact your NRCS field office for more information.